Today's objective is going to be to define what an insulator is. So what property or characteristics make an insulator? Well, first, let's review what we already know. So last time we talked about what a conductor is. We learned that a conductor is a material that heat can pass through easily. So remember, we used our example of a metal slide. So you're on the playground and you go down a metal slide and it's a hot day and ouch, it burns you because the slide is so hot, the metal heated up really quickly and it burned. That's because metal is a good conductor. Heat can pass through it easily. But if you slide down a plastic slide, you're not going to get the same effect of getting burned after you go down. That's because the plastic slide is not a good conductor. It does not have heat pass through it easily through the plastic. So if it's not a good conductor, we call that an insulator. So the metal slide is a conductor, but the plastic slide is an insulator. Why? Because two slides, let's say they're on the same playground on a really hot day, the metal slide is going to burn you. It's going to heat up fast, but the plastic slide is not going to heat up fast. It's going to be an insulator. Let's use our cooking example again. So we learned that a metal pan is a conductor. Heat can transfer from the stove to the pan really easily, really fast, and that's going to cook our breakfast. But if you notice on a lot of pans, the pan part is made of metal, so it can heat up, but the handle is made out of something different. So this handle is probably made out of plastic, just like our slide, so that when we grab onto it, when we're lifting up our skillet, our hands aren't getting burned. Here's another pan where the pan part is made of metal, but the handle part, you can tell, is made of wood. That's also because wood is an insulator. Heat isn't going to transfer to it easily, so it's not going to burn you. So take a look at the pans in your kitchen and see the different materials they are made out of. Pay attention to the skillet part versus the handle part. Are they made out of different materials? Same thing with our cookie example. So last time we talked about how we bake cookies in our aluminum or metal pans so that the heat can transfer quickly. They're good conductors. That's going to bake our cookies. But the second part to baking the cookies is you want to get the cookies out of the oven so you can eat them. And what do you use to take the cookies out of the oven? You use oven mitts. And the oven mitts are made out of cotton material, different fabrics. Those are insulators. Why? Because when you use the oven mitts to take out your cookies, your hand isn't going to burn with the oven mitts on because the heat does not transfer easily from your hot metal pan to the oven mitt, to the fabric, the cotton of the oven mitt. The oven mitt is an insulator. It's not going to hurt you. Something that makes a good insulator is if it can keep cold things cold and hot things hot. So I want you to imagine again, it's a nice, beautiful day. Maybe you want to go for a picnic, and on your picnic, you bring with you a cooler or an ice chest full of your favorite cold drinks. Why do you use an ice chest? It's because a cooler or an ice chest is a good insulator. An ice chest is typically made out of plastic and maybe some styrofoam too. The styrofoam is a good insulator along with the plastic. Those two are good insulators, which means it keeps your ice and your cold drinks cold. The heat or the sun from the outside, it's not going to warm up anything inside your cooler because the cooler is made out of insulating materials. The heat is not going to transfer easily from the outside through the styrofoam or the plastic. Okay, so here's another example of a good insulator that can keep cold things cold or hot things hot. If you've ever gotten takeout and it comes in a container that looks like this, the to-go containers are made out of styrofoam. That's because your hot meal is inside, and because heat does not transfer easily from an insulator, then let's say you've got your hot meal, you've got your hot takeout meal inside, the heat is not going to leave the container. So even if it's really cold outside, the heat is trapped inside. It is not going to easily pass through the styrofoam. So it is an insulator. Okay, so once again, an insulator can keep cold things cold and hot things hot because the heat is not going to transfer out easily. So maybe you have a thermos that looks like one of these. Let's say inside you have some ice, cold water, or you have maybe in this one a hot soup or some other hot meal, or in this one a cold drink. Even if it's really hot outside or really cold outside, your beverages or your foods inside the thermos are going to stay the way you left them. So if you have a really ice cold drink, maybe an ice water in this thermos water bottle, if it's a really hot day, the heat is not going to transfer easily to the plastic thermos. Okay, it's not going to transfer easily, and your water is going to stay ice cold. Let's say in this one you have a hot soup and it's a really cold day outside. Well, the heat from the soup, the heat on the inside cannot transfer easily to the outside, and so the soup is going to stay hot even if it's a really cold day outside. So in conclusion, what makes an insulator? Well, it's the opposite of a conductor. So heat does not pass through some materials easily. Those materials are wood, plastic, styrofoam. I didn't talk about this one in the PowerPoint, but rubber is another one. And these materials are called insulators. So a conductor is something that heat can transfer through easily, like a metal. And an insulator is when the heat cannot transfer easily, like wood, plastic, or styrofoam. So my challenge for you is to find something in your house that is a good insulator. And it can be one of the objects I've talked about in here, or maybe it can be a clothing item. Think of a clothing item that keeps the heat of your body inside, so when you wear it, you stay warm. That would be something I think everyone can find within their house. But I'm open to anything that you think is an insulator. Good luck.